Okay, so for my European friends, and also some of the people in America who don't seem to understand that this lady who got shot by ICE over, I think, the weekend, um, basically brought it on herself. And the cop was, in my opinion, well within his right to shoot her. Now, could he have jumped away and not shot her or whatever? Yes, that may be possible, but we don't know that because we weren't standing there. And that doesn't really matter. You see, what matters is this lady got herself into a situation that she never should have gotten into. Look, I am not for a police state, okay? I want to be a free adult, choose what I do, when I do it, and I don't want cops telling me I can't do it because some bureaucrat somewhere declared whatever it is I want to do illegal or against the law or worthy of a fine or whatever. But we all basically do agree that we do need police because sometimes we get robbed or somebody tries to kill us, and we need to have the protection of law enforcement to be able to help us out. It's a double-edged sword, but everybody agrees that we're not going to get rid of the police. Well, if you're going to have police, and in this case it's ICE agents, which for this story or for this explanation doesn't, it's no different, okay? It's no different. Actually, it's not really, actually, it's a little different because the ICE agents have even more jurisdiction to act. They have even more leeway, let's say, than regular beat cops do. So it doesn't matter what kind of cop they are, right? The fact of the matter is, we in Western societies have agreed we want police. If you want police, you have to be able to give those police who don't get paid squat. I don't know of any one of these Western countries that pays police enough. You know what I'm saying? They should be getting the big salaries because they're putting their ass on the line for our protection. That's the way it is. So they should get leeway and they should be able to protect themselves. And if you take away their right to protect themselves, they're not going to put themselves in harm's way, not for you and not for anybody else unless it's their own family or themselves. You see what I'm saying? So in other words, if I was a cop and I was told, like in the European countries, you can't shoot a driver who is running their car at you because otherwise you might have been in jail, I'd be like, okay, well, then fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Then fuck it. Because if I can't defend myself, if somebody's trying to run me over, then I don't want to do this job for this little money. So fuck it. And that's what you would get pretty much everywhere. Okay? Now, you can't compare it to situations in Europe, right? In Europe, the population isn't armed. You know what I mean? That's one thing. And also, you don't have the same kind of lunacy here as they do in America, right? I've lived in America a long time. I've dealt with cops in America. I've been arrested. I've been pulled over numerous times. And everybody knows you can't try to run a cop over in your car if they're telling you to stop the car and get out. They will shoot you. Everybody knows it, right? Except for this dumb liberal woman and her lesbian wife, right? Who was standing outside of the car with her phone in her hand, telling the cops, come at me, bro. Come at me. Come at us. You want some? You want some? This bitch is like 2 feet tall, right? And her wife is in the car getting ready to hit the gas while there's two cops next to the car. One is slightly in front of it. The other one is standing next to it. The one standing next to the car is telling her to shut the engine off and get out. And the reason why is she has been obstructing their work that morning. You see, she parks the car long ways across the street or broadly across the street so that they can't get by. If you can't do that, can you do that here in Germany? Can you just run your car when the cops are trying to arrest somebody and you're like, no, I'm going to like drive my car in front of them and slow them down. And then when they get close to the place that they're going to raid, I'm going to pull the car in front of them so they can't get there. What do you fucking think's going to happen in any country? Right? So, of course, the police are going to act on that. Now, here, they might not shoot you, right? In Germany, they might not shoot, but maybe. You know what I mean? If I was a cop and I was about to get run over, I might shoot her. You know what I mean? You know, just if that was the only way to stop her. Now, in this case, We weren't there. We see the videos and shit like that. Clearly the guy got hit by the car. Clearly the woman steps on the gas. The tires spin because of the ice on the road. So if she would have had traction at that time, she would have hit that cop in front of the car much harder than she did, right? But because she didn't get traction, she was pulled the wheel to the right and just like kind of bumped into him. By that, all he can do is he has 2 seconds to decide, oh shit, she's hitting the gas, the wheels are spinning, she's going to run me over. Boom. That's it. I think that's completely justified for more reasons than one. Listen, another thing. First of all, we have to agree, in no country would the police allow you to obstruct their work and park in front of them so they can't get through and they can't arrest people that they want to arrest. That just doesn't work like that, whether you agree with them or not, right? Whether you agree with them or not, right? It doesn't matter if you agree. There's a lot of things that cops do that I don't agree with. There's a lot of laws I don't agree with. But I have to take that risk individually to decide, am I going to break those laws? Is it worth the consequence? Yes or no? And I make those decisions all the time, just like all adult people do. Nobody really follows all the laws. I'm a truck driver. I know the fines for fucking being on your phone driving are pretty high. People don't like to get fined, but I can see in everybody's car and everyone is on their fucking phone. Like all of them. You know what I mean? The people that are telling you, oh my God, it's dangerous to be on the phone. I mean, you're in your car. Those are the people that are on the fucking phone. All right? So don't give me this bullshit about, well, if you follow the law. Look, people don't follow the law all the time. And sometimes people feel like they have to protest or they have to act against what they feel like is an oppressive regime. What these people are being told in their head, right? That Donald Trump is fucking deporting everybody. And even if he was, right? That's the point. That should happen here in Europe too, right? Those cops are there to get illegals out of the country. And people are like, yeah, but you can't get the illegals out that have been here and made a family. No, yes, you can. They have to go too. Because the fact is, if you're there illegally and you let some illegals stay and you take some illegals out, that's not really fair, is it? And the idea for Trump's administration is we want all the illegal aliens out of the country, right? Now, do I think they could do a different deal with them, with some of them that have been there for a long time, never committed any crimes? Should they give them some sort of amnesty or blah, blah, blah? Maybe, you know what I mean? But I don't have any influence on that, right? The fact is, I agree, if you came into the country illegally and you've been there for 14 years, maybe you should have thought about that and said, well, now I've been here so long, let me try and get some citizenship or a green card or something. But no, they just stayed there illegally, thinking that all of the administrations are just going to do the same thing as every other one and say, well, the law's been broken, we're just going to keep letting them in and they're good to go. Yeah, that's stupid. That's stupid. That's fucking stupid. So it's their own fault if they're regular people that got there illegally and they never got their papers, they never even tried, and now they get deported. That's too fucking bad. That's the way the cookie crumbles, people. That's how it should happen here in Germany. There's a lot of motherfuckers need to get deported up here, but they're never going to do it. Right? The politicians are never going to do it. And they don't have the stomach for what it's going to take. So that's another thing. They're doing legal work, right? They are allowed to arrest people that they're going to deport. Whether the people on the street like it or not, that's the way it is, right? So you don't get in your car if you're a mother of 3 kids and go fuck around with the cops, right? That's the dumbest shit ever. It's dumb to fuck with anyone that has a gun when you don't have a gun, right? If you have no gun and you're standing in front of somebody that has a fucking gun, you don't spit on them. You don't call them fatso. You don't fucking say, come at me, bro, come at me. And you don't try to run over them with your fucking car. Or you may get shot, whether it's a cop or not, right? That people, I mean, my wife's German, so she's like, yeah, but this is totally unacceptable. You can't just shoot a citizen in the face. I was like, well, yeah, you can in America. You know what I'm saying? And with every right. She doesn't get it either. She's European. You guys don't know what the rules and the laws are in America, and you might think it's oppressive, and you might think it's wrong. But let me tell you, in America, those cops wouldn't be cops if they were not allowed, if they were hogtied like they are here in Europe, right? I would never be a cop in Britain. No gun? Get the fuck out of here. Now, I agree the cops need to be trained better. They should all be professional jujitsu dudes so that they can diffuse situations without having to shoot people. Also, cops are people too. They are also scared. And if they get scared and they have a gun and you don't, there's a likely chance you're going to get killed. So you just have to use your fucking common sense. If you feel like the cops went overboard, you have courts to sort that out afterwards. You don't directly challenge them unless you're willing to go to prison or get killed. That's the way it is, like it or not. Right? So you don't try to run over them. You are not a mom of 3 kids if you go and put yourself in danger, and which she did. The reason why these 3 kids do not have a mother is because this dumb bitch put herself in the fucking line of fire and squared off with police officers who were armed. That's dumb. That's dumb. She's a dumb bitch. You know what I'm saying? We could use a lot less dumbass people. So, good job. Okay? This is dumb shit. And you know how dumb they are. The wife even screamed after she got shot. The wife said, "Why do you have real bullets?" And I was like, "What the fuck? What the fuck?" You hear it on one of the videos. She's like, "Why do you have real bullets?" All right, wait a second. So this made me think of something else, right? And Tim Pool said it too. If you watch Timcast IRL, you watch Tim Pool. He said the same thing. Listen, these people are like through NGO paid protesters, right? They were part of a group about like resist ICE or stop ICE or something that was putting out like pamphlets and propaganda of how to resist the ICE agents, how to obstruct them. It's just like the Antifa books about here in Europe about how to wash your DNA away from shit. And it's the same shit. It's NGOs paying people to go and fuck with these ICE agents. They're paying them to put their lives on the line. So these women were out there, probably paid by some NGO belonging to some sort of group. They weren't even from the state. They weren't even from the state they were in. They came from out of state to specifically fuck with ICE agents. How would they know where the fucking ICE agents are going to be? You know what I mean? But they do. It's an organized NGO funded thing. So look, it's simple. If you're going to go out and work for some NGO for peanuts to protest something you basically have no idea what it's about, you have no idea what you're doing, then you have to reckon with the fact that in this case, with ICE cops, you may get killed. Because yes, these women are used to protests where the cops have like beanbag guns and pepper balls and shit like that. So the worst thing that has ever happened to them is maybe they got pepper sprayed or hit with a beanbag bullet or some shit like that. That's why this dumb bitch said, "Oh my God, why did you have real bullets?" They really expect that federal ICE agents who are dealing with MS-13 gangbangers with AK-47s and shit, they're not showing up with pepper balls and beanbag bullets, right? Or rubber bullets or any shit. They have real bullets. Really? So that's how dumb these fucking people are. They're so brainwashed. They're so brainwashed that they think that ICE cops don't have real bullets in their gun because they're used to playing a game where they never face consequences. Before Trump, these kind of protesters, like this woman that got killed and her lesbian wife that's out there screaming, "Come get me, come at me, bro." You know what I'm saying? What kind of fucking people are these, right? These women are used to being at protests where they never saw any consequences because before Trump, the regime was left. So these leftist protesters, BLM, you name it, they were able to get away with murder. They rioted, they burnt down buildings, they caused $2 billion worth of damage during the George Floyd protest, and nothing ever happens to any of them. Well, there's a new sheriff in town who is going to uphold the law, or at least some people are. I mean, Trump's not really arresting anybody. I don't know what the fuck is going on. But the cops know that, oh, well, this is a different story. This time, we don't have to let ourselves get pushed around by these leftist protesters because we're not going to see trouble from it. The chance that this cop gets any sort of fucking jail time or any shit is pretty much zero. If Trump lets this guy get prosecuted, like Biden let Derek Chauvin get prosecuted for George Floyd dying of a drug overdose, basically, after resisting arrest for half an hour, right? That this dude had to go to prison is a travesty, right? Derek Chauvin should be freed. It's a travesty, right? But in this case, right, Trump could just quit now if the administration is going to let this cop get persecuted for shooting this woman completely legitimately, then he might as well quit now because that'll be the last straw for a lot of people, including myself, right? So that cannot happen. It's probably not going to happen. And the cops know that. So now they don't have to let themselves be pushed around by these insane protesters on the left that think this is all just some live action role play, which is why they run out going, oh my God, you had real bullets? You know what I'm saying? Because they're that stupid. They think they're not used to seeing any consequence. So they're getting surprised. So let this be a message, right, to all the other maniacs that are going to try. Not protesting's fine, right? But that's not what they're doing. They're not protesting. They're physically getting involved in stopping these ICE agents from doing their job, and they're playing with people who have real bullets. So for all you other dumbasses out there that think this is a great idea, this shit is going to get worse. They are not going to back down. I can guarantee it. Okay? They're not going to do it. They're not going to back down. So no matter how much pressure you put them on, and no matter how much you believe that, oh, well, this will be real bad, this will look real bad for Trump, so they're not going to shoot me. Fucking don't believe the hype, people. Yes, they fucking are. So be smart, love your family and your kids, and don't get in the way of ICE agents doing their job. If you want to help some illegals, I tell you what, go find some and let them bunker down in your house like they did with the Jews and the Nazis. That'll be a good way to help. You can resist like that. You know what I'm saying? You let some illegals in your house and let them, you take care of them. Make sure they don't get found by ICE. That's a good way. That's what I would do. If I was worried about it, it was like one of my great friends and shit. I was like worried he was going to get taken out of the country. But like, yo, homie, stay in my attic and shit. I'll bring you food and shit. You know what I'm saying? That's how you do some shit like that. Yes, you might get in trouble. Yeah, I don't think you should, but you probably will. But at least you won't get killed and not achieve anything. Right? You know what I'm saying? I would just hide people. Not fucking go out there and try to put your dumb ass in the line of fire. That's a stupid ass move. You only do shit like that when you're trying to overthrow the government or you want suicide by cop. Maybe. You know what I mean? But listen, Europeans, look, if you were dealing with the same shit as American cops have to deal with, then these cops would have a lot more clout and a lot more authority to act on their own without having to call for fucking permission and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? To shoot their guns and not have to worry about going to prison if they do. You know what I mean? You can't fucking judge that shit if you've never fucking seen it or never been in it. Okay? And also about the guy, oh, well, he should have jumped out the way. Well, maybe he should have, but he didn't, and he didn't have to. Because the cop doesn't have to fucking go, well, I can't shoot this woman who's trying to run over me. You know what I mean? He doesn't have to fucking do anything. He has the right to protect himself at that moment. And if the only thing he can do, or the only thing he decides to do at that moment is shoot, and that kills her, tough shit. She should have got out of the car and shut the fuck up. That's how that works, whether you like it or not. Okay? I don't like it either. But I would be expecting it if I put my car in front of the cops and said, yo, come at me, bitch. Come at me, bitch. What you going to do? What you going to do? You know what I'm saying? Then I would expect I would get some trouble out of that. You know? And here in Europe, I would say, well, I probably could go pretty far without getting shot. You know what I'm saying? But who knows? You're bringing it on yourself. And you've got to calculate for yourself if that risk is worth it to you to protect a bunch of illegal crime-ridden, gang-banging illegal aliens. You know what I'm saying? It's insane to me. It's fucking insane. That's how dumb these people on the left are. These leftist morons are just stupid. And now they're waking up to a fucking dose of reality. And it's about time. It's about time somebody paid the consequence for their stupidity on the left, because it's been a long time since we've seen any of that. Now, I'm not cheering about this lady getting killed. I'm not happy she's dead. I'm just saying, yo, too fucking bad. All right? I'm not going to lose sleep over this whatsoever. I think the cop was completely justified. You can see it on all the angles of the video. She hits the guy with her fucking car. End of story. That's it. That's how it works. And that's how it should work if you think about it. So, too bad. Hopefully, this is a lesson for everybody else too, so not more people get killed. And they just let these ICE agents do their goddamn job and get illegals out of the country, which is what Donald Trump was elected for. Right? Just because here in Germany, we're used to electing people to do just that, and they don't do it, doesn't mean that it works like that everywhere. Thank God. So, look, listen, guys, in Germany, if you guys vote in the AfD, which we have to do, we have no choice. We got no choice. The AfD is the only chance we got to turn this country around. They're going to have to make hard decisions as well. They're going to have to do some serious deporting too, against the will of the EU and the bureaucrats in Brussels and all that shit. It might look ugly, but too bad. Too bad. So there you go. That's my take on the whole thing for my European friends. That's the way it is. Peace out.